An explosive performance. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town.
In the midst of the 1988 Grammy Awards, as Bob Dylan performed his song Lovesick, an unexpected figure burst onto the stage, shirtless, pale and wiry, with the word soy bomb scrawled in black paint across his chest. The man convulsed in an erratic robotic dance just a few feet away from the legendary musician. For nearly 30 seconds he remained there, flailing in movements before security intervened, escorting him away. Dylan, ever the professional, barely acknowledged the intrusion, only momentarily glaring at the dancer before continuing his performance. This is the story of Soy Bomb. If you're a 90s person, if you're an MTV person, if you're like kind of a Gen X thing, you know what Soy Bomb is.
Wow.
Rebecca,
I feel like I was those things until you said Soy Bomb, and now I realize I'm not those things at all.
I figure with the Grammys that just happened and Bob Dylan back in the news.
News.
Was apropos.
Yeah.
This was apropos.
Was this in A Complete Unknown? Did they mention Soy Bomb?
I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know. But we're tackling it.
That's right. You don't have to watch the movie. You can just listen to this.
The man behind the stunt was Michael Portnoy, a performance artist with a penchant for the bizarre. Later, he explained that Soy Bomb was meant to represent a spontaneous explosion of thought and was a form of artistic expression. Two words chosen for their seemingly random yet evocative juxtaposition was meant to provoke interpretation. Soy, a symbol of life and nourishment, combined with bomb, an image of sudden impact, was his way of injecting surrealism into the mainstream culture. And back then, there was a lot of things about hugs not war, food not bombs. So bombs and then soy, which is not a new term, but I feel like soy, as representing health and kind of like hippie culture. Nobody knew what it meant then, like when it was happening. They're just like, oh, is this a commentary on what? And really, it was relatively benign. It was just somebody being a performance artist.
I mean, it does sound vaguely political. Like if you were to see that flash on your screen watching the Grammys from home, you'd be like, oh, I see bomb, soy. You think Soylent. You think of, product, mass production, especially at that point, especially the politicism of the 90s. Like maybe your brain would go there. But it's interesting that it was more like a Meow Wolf situation where you're just like, no, two random words.
Just somebody wanting to express themselves in their weird kind of arty way. I figure like Bob Dylan is kind of known for being part of the counterculture. Is it a juxtaposition? Yeah, it's the Grammys. But it almost seems like it goes a little more hand in hand if it was somebody else that was more pop oriented, if it was maybe I don't know, Madonna or something like that. And even she's provocative in her own way. So it was an interesting choice, but maybe that's just, how he found his way up there.
Yeah, maybe it was the point in time he could just do it then, even though, because you're right, Bob Dylan is pretty, political in and of himself and kind of countercultural. It's like they should be up there for the Go-Go's or something. That's a bad example.
But even the Go-Go's, were, part of it's you have to find somebody truly.
Yeah, like Tiffany.
Yeah, but it's 1998.
Yeah,
so,
it's like
I don't
honestly,
know.
that's like NSYNC, really. That's even more in that.
That would probably be kind of more aligned.
Mm-hmm.
The Grammys that year were meant to be a celebration of Dylan's enduring legacy, with his album Time Out of Mind making a critical and commercial resurgence. The intrusion of Soy Bomb became an oddly fitting moment in the long history of unexpected disruptions in live television, and we'd see more of that. That's not the first time someone's crashed the party, to say, and fortunately it was relatively benign. It wasn't like a hateful thing. And I mean, Bob Dylan, even 25 years ago, he's relatively unmoved by anything. So he's just you could watch the video and he's just like,
shrugged.
Hey, all right, yeah, okay, yeah.
Back to the song, folks.
Yeah, but not even that. That's even more animated. Wow. Unlike other award show crashes meant to protest or self-promote, Portnoy's actions carried an air of absurdity, something too strange to be fully dismissed, yet too brief to be taken seriously. And he just went on to just do more art and performance art and essentially happily ever after. But in 1998, Grammys, Bob Dylan, that was something. I mean, that was really kind of great promotion for MTV, for the Grammys. I feel like things were kind of boring because the late 90s, the answer to everything in the late 90s was boy bands.
Yeah.
That really
Mass
so
marketed. Yeah.
grunge was on its way out. What was going, there was kind of singer-songwriter stuff and think about what's going on. And then like in 99, it would be Woodstock 99. So 98 was kind of a weird sort of, a lot of great music. Radiohead was popular. There's a lot of great bands, but there wasn't a lot of big splashes being made. So this was probably one of those welcome things that gave us material to talk about for this episode.